Increasing your strength is something I highly recommend as you get older for multiple reasons. Slows down loss of bone density for a start, which will potentially reduce the risk of fractures, maybe even strengthen your bones, especially if you're new to resistance training. It'll obviously give you stronger muscles as well, and as you get stronger, your daily tasks in theory should become a little bit easier and make you feel better overall. Building strength is basically the same as building muscle, but there are a few subtle differences. So muscle building is based on volume, so that'll be amount of sets, amount of reps, times the amount of weight that you're using. And obviously the more muscle you have, the stronger you'll be anyway, but not as strong as what you'd be if you just focus on strength training. Strength training is based on intensity, so the amount of weight you can lift. So we're looking at low reps, high weight, lots of rest, and less volume as well. Now, because of the increased load on your joints, you don't want to just walk straight into a gym and go straight at it. Make sure you warm up properly. Don't just load 10 kilograms onto the bar and go for 1 rep max. Oh, no, that's me. And I'll give you an example of a strength-based program later on in the video. Okay, let's assume you're starting from scratch or very little experience. The first thing you want to do is practice your technique. Don't go lifting heavy weights with bad technique. You're gonna definitely injure yourself. You'll likely snap something you didn't know you had. The best exercises really overall for building overall strength and size are things like your bench press, shoulder press, squats, deadlifts, okay, pull-ups if you can do them, bent over rows, lat pull downs. These are your main compound movements. Compound exercise will be using multiple joints and multiple muscles at the same time. And isolation movements would be just using one joint and one muscle, so like a bicep curl. I wouldn't recommend doing strength training for isolation movements. You've got a much higher risk of injury doing that. Another reason why you want to make sure you're using correct technique on your exercises is because you use up a lot of valuable energy trying to control the bar. The more efficient you are at an exercise, the more weight you can lift, the more reps you can do, because you're using less energy stabilising the bar. And on top of that, the more you practice an exercise, the more you can, recruit more muscle fibres. You really want to concentrate on that mind-muscle connection. If you've ever seen strong men or powerlifters before they're about to lift an insane amount of weight, a lot of the time they just scream, shouting, and they're psyching themselves up. By doing that, your brain is recruiting more muscle fibres, so you can actually lift more weight. I'm not saying you need to scream before you lift your weights, but just focus on the exercise itself, focus on the movement, just practice doing that, and you'll be able to lift more weight over time. It's a bit like if you've ever gone to pick something up and you assume it's a certain weight and then you sort of overlift it because your brain has recruited more muscle fibres than it actually needs. So that's the kind of thing you're after. If you're not comfortable doing like the main compound exercises with a bar, like your squats and deadlifts for example, or bench press, you can use a machine. Machines are fine. Pretty much eliminates the problem of controlling the weight, which will save you a little bit of energy. You can probably get a few more reps out, but stick to the same movements like a chest press or a leg press, things like that. Now, with the increased load on your muscles and joints, you're going to want to throw in the odd deload week. I probably recommend every 4 to 6 weeks. So a deload week, you're basically giving your body pretty much a full rest. You can just have a week off, or you can halve the weight, do the same amount of reps, or halve the weight, halve the reps. The idea is it's supposed to be really easy. Okay, you want to give your body full recovery time, and your tendons don't heal as quick as your muscles, so your muscles might feel okay, but your tendons are going to be taking a bit of a beating. So make sure you throw a deload week in every few weeks. And you can't do as much in your 50s as you could when you were 20, 30, or at least you can't get away with as much. So don't let pride get in the way. Be smart about your training, to make sure you get your recovery in. As far as nutrition goes, overall calories is a number one priority, okay? And then, when you get older, you actually can't, you're not as efficient as using protein, so you could probably do with eating maybe a little bit more than normal. The usual recommendation is like 0.7, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. You can increase that a little bit, maybe 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay? But it's not the be all and end all. Just focus on your overall calories first. Get your carbs in, protein, fat. Right, let's have a look at this basic strength program that you can follow. So just quickly then, work your way up to the heavy weights over 2 or 3 weeks maybe. So maybe start off doing 12 to 15 reps per exercise week 1, and then 8 to 12 reps for week 2. Week 3 do your 5 to 8 reps. This is just a guide. If your technique is not scratch, I'll just recommend focusing on that first. Okay, don't go heavy lifting with really bad form. Right, so this is what I'm doing at the moment. So day one, chest and back, flat bench press. You can do it incline if you want, but you're strong and flat. 3 or 4 warm-up sets, gradually increasing the weight and halving the reps. So I do 20 reps to begin with, then 10 reps, increasing the weight. Increase the weight again, 5 reps, and then 1 or 2 reps after that. Sometimes I'll just pick the weight up and put it back down again when I'm close to the working set. Now this helps me prepare myself mentally. Do 5 reps, rest 5 minutes, and do 5 sets. Don't go to failure. If you're going to do 2 or 3 reps, take some weight off. And you know, if you've got the safety bars as well, like these here, make sure you use them. You don't want to get crushed by the bar. Or maybe ask someone if they can spot you when you're doing your bench press. So you want to be fairly close to failure doing this, but you don't want to go to failure. Just pick a weight, do your 5 reps, rest your 5 minutes, and then do that 5 times. So next, lat pull down for your back. I probably wouldn't do sets of 5 for these. I'd probably just keep it to around 8 reps. 2 or 3 warm-up sets. I would do 4 sets, 8 reps, maybe a 4-minute rest in between each set. Concentrate on your back, doing the work as well, not your arms. Remember that mind-muscle connection. You can do other exercises as well whilst you're doing this for your chest and your back. I wouldn't go too hard on it. Remember, it's the intensity you're after, not the not volume. Right, day 2, shoulders and arms. Shoulder press, I recommend standing up for this. It's not essential, you know, if you'd rather sit down, it's fine. Maybe like a Smith machine or something like that. If you're using a bar, make sure you're lifting it off a rack. Again, like this, not off the floor. 3 or 4 warm-up sets. Don't lock your knees. Forearms you want perpendicular to the floor when you're at the bottom of the lift. And again, 5 to 8 reps, 4 or 5 sets, 4 or 5-minute rest in between each set. Again, don't go to failure. You can do 3 or 4 sets of lateral raises after this to work your side delts. So maybe 10 to 15 reps, 2-minute rest in between each set should be fine. You can go to failure on these. Then I would superset biceps and triceps together to save time. It's not particularly taxing doing your biceps and triceps together. So again, 3 or 4 sets for each exercise. You could do dumbbell curls or barbell curls, 8 to 15 reps, maybe rest a minute, go straight into a tricep extension, something like that. Same thing, 8 to 15 reps, close to failure, rest a minute, then go back to your biceps and just do that. Maybe do 3 sets of each, something like that. Then day 3, onto your legs, do your quads and hamstrings. If you're okay doing squats or deadlifts, do that first. Okay, this will be the most taxing on your body. Or leg press. If you've got really bad knees or a bad back, I would not recommend doing squats and deadlifts, to be honest. Or at least not until you're a better state to actually do it. Stick to a leg press or leg extensions, leg curls. Okay, you just have to judge it for yourself. Otherwise, if you do deadlifts, again, 5 to 8 reps, 4 or 5 sets with a 4 or 5-minute rest in between. If you're doing squats, I probably wouldn't do sets of 5. Probably a bit too much, that is. Maybe lighten the weight a bit, do a few more reps. Make sure you use the safety bars again. Keep your back straight, make sure you don't round your back. You can throw some lunges in there as well if you want, 3 or 4 sets again. Or leg extensions, leg curls, hip extensions. You don't have to do 3 days in a row as well. You could train every other day. Do what suits you. Definitely have a rest day though if you're doing 3 days in a row with high intensity. And if you're really sore next day, also you're probably going a bit too hard, so just reduce the intensity a little bit. Okay, so just lower the weight. If you feel absolutely nothing, then I guess you can increase the load. Okay, you don't always have to feel sore for it to have actually done anything to your muscles. The more you train, the less sore you'll be over time. Don't forget your stretches, 30 to 60 seconds per muscle. Get some decent grub down you. Hope this has helped, and I'll see you in the next video.